Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link. I don't care how many times I hear that song. That's still my jam. Show me your soul. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to today's installment, y'all. Bathrobe Moments, Dr. Lauren with you. And got the face all buttered up. Wade in, y'all. for the first time in 2 weeks since, it was the day of reckoning, so to speak. And if you have not been around, then hopefully you weren't damaged by that rock you were under. If you weren't around for the last, whatever, since December, when this became a topic here on the show, here's what happened. Miss Jane, my coach for this metabolic balance journey, was a guest on the show because of her USA Today #1 best-selling book right here in my hand, The Metabolic Balance Kitchen. Now, she has partnered with the Metabolic Balance family, some doctors over in Germany, and boy, has this changed my life. It really has. Now, you might think, yeah, that's why you were in the hospital for 2 days. But no, actually, all of that was great news. The kidney thing, for those who didn't know that. Yesterday, I got here to the show 3 minutes late because I had just gotten out an hour before and traffic kept me. So what they say is stage 3 chronic kidney disease, which I had signs of when I was a little boy. I had to, I always had those kidney infections and things like that and all of that. So anyway, could have been worse. It's not one of those things that it's not like a lot of people went to sleep last night with diagnosis for different things, which I'm sure many would gladly swap out what they have for what I just got. And I'm on the stage 3. There's 2 pieces of it, the lower half and the upper half. And I'm in the lower half, which I think they said 93% of the people who have that, that's where you stay till you leave this world. So I don't think I'll be, knock on wood, dialysis or any of that too soon. But listen, why I say it's a good thing, then we're going to get our guest, Sonny Von Cleveland, in here. But in lieu of a monologue, I'm going to say this to you. When I was working in the health and wellness field, doing free transformations, right? Fit camps and things like that, I brought a doctor in, Dr. Lester, and he spoke to all of the people who were part of things, like 60 some people, mainly women. And he said something that has never left me. He said, if you have something that shows up and it's unusual, it feels unusual, it looks unusual, if after 2 days it's still prominent, call your doctor. If it's still there 5 days later, go straight to the emergency room. That's what he said. Now, why is that so important? Real quick. 3 women that were in that program with me that last year, 2 were sisters, they were hairdressers, and then another woman who went to them to get her hair done. And she went this particular week on 2 days, Monday to get whatever she had done, and then Friday to get the touch up because she had a wedding the next day on Saturday. And they noticed on Monday that she was eating Rolaids in the chair while she was getting her hair done, like one after the other. And then by Friday, they said that she had tripled her intake from what they could tell. I mean, the wrappers and stuff, they kept taking them from her because she was in the chair underneath whatever that thing is. So anyway, they remembered what Dr. Lester said. They shut the shop down because it was 5 days. They took her to the emergency room. No kidding, you guys. This really happened. 44 years old, 1 son, 15 years old, this woman. She hopped up on the table in the, the curtained off area in the emergency room. The 2 girls were putting their coats away or whatever, the sisters. And when they came back, they found her expired. She passed away because she was eating all those Tums. It was not heartburn. She was close, but no cigar. She had a hole in her aorta. And that was the moment of reckoning for me. Whenever I don't have to feel something. I just need to know it's time to get it checked. So do that. AI is working wonders, you all, to keep us alive even longer than previously thought. Now, why do I have sunglasses on today? Because I didn't get much sleep in that place. I'm not kidding you. I wanted to kill some of those nurses. They talk so loud all night long. The bright lights and all that. But anyway, these lights and the screen, my screen time has been over the top. So I'm wearing these today because My eyes are dry. So you guys, Sonny Von Cleveland been here a few times, and every time he returns, he's a different version of himself. He keeps moving it higher and higher, further and further. He does not stay within uncomfortable comfort zones, as Lulu Lee has so eloquently coined. He gets out of it, and I've seen him handle some pretty big speed bumps with grace. So we're going to talk about that and all the other things. The photographer guy, the guy who wrote this book that's right here. Hey, white boy, get away from my car. That's how this started. He don't think I know that. Sir, I don't know who took your lawnmower. Some little white boy. Well, he's kind of tall. You guys put some hearts on the screen. Well, should I read a little bit about him? I will, because some of you may not know him. He's a motivational speaker, Sonny Von Cleveland. I love that name. Hold on. I'm not printing that. He's an entrepreneur and he's a community leader. That is an addition to his resume, his repertoire since he was elected last year. He says that he is a powerhouse of resilience, transformation, and inspiration. And having overcome an extraordinary past marked by hardship and adversity. Sound familiar, you guys? He has emerged as a dynamic motivational speaker, mindset coach, and advocate for personal growth and second chances. Now, there's much more, but like the kids say, I'd rather show you than tell you. Now, I'll say this. I'm so proud to have Sonny here. He was one of the first 10 of the rock stars all those years ago. And today, because I just had to do a math thing for them, 179 rock stars. And it's a lifetime thing, so they're family. And this is one of the first. Put your hearts on the screen. It's our virtual way of saying welcome. And get your ass in here, white boy. Oh, I know. I'm so glad we can say that. Here he comes, you guys.
I'm running to get here. I'm running. I made it. I made it on time.
You know what's so similar? Not just that we both went to prison and stuff.
What?
And had trauma as kids. But look at how we were blessed with our life partners.
It's a beautiful thing.
Isn't that something?
It's a beautiful thing.
It really is. It really is.
We were not meant to walk alone, my friend.
And boy, well, I almost said something. I ain't gonna say. Let's just say the term trading up mean anything to you? I'm kidding. But I'm just saying, you have a beautiful son.
Right?
Huh?
Kind of like the stock market, right?
Yeah. Well, you're just so evenly yoked. You're good for each other. Yeah. Settling into that, the married life and all that.
It's a beautiful thing, man. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
How long you two been together?
4 years. Just
already.
Coming up on we just passed 4 years actually. So it's time flies, man. Time flies.
Brian got me to move here from Michigan to Illinois, a 2-hour little skip. You got Claire to move all the way from, wasn't it London or someplace?
London, England, yeah.
I remember then I said, ooh, she must be crazy.
And she got me to move all the way to the farthest reaches of the West Coast.
One of the best moves you could have ever made.
Best move of my life.
I know. Oh, man. Okay, you're going to, great, because I left my coffee upstairs. Go get ready right now. I'm going to give you 60 seconds to just pour into the audience. It's the thing we've been doing for a couple of years since you were here last year. What'd you wake up with today on your spirit, on your heart, that you'd like to share with everybody? And we usually pick that up as what we use to start the conversation when I return, okay?
Okay.
And I'll go grab it's upstairs on the counter. I'll be right back. You
guys,
Sonny Von Cleveland. Take it away.
Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see some familiar faces. I see Sherry McQueen is in there. It's good to see you. Robert Booker, Christian McPhee, Christopher McPhee. How are you? Good morning. I wake up every day with a beautiful intention set. I've come to learn that every day is an opportunity to seize the life of your dreams, and you are the only thing that can hold you back. I spent all day the day before yesterday at a young men's conference, 2025 young men's conference in Riverside, California, and it reminds me of the gift that I've been given to serve and how I've been able to take the experiences of my life and pass those experiences and that wisdom on to young men and women who may be facing an uphill battle or a struggle in life, and give them some tools and keys to being able to unlock the life of their dreams, because everybody is worth it and it is available to anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter who raised you. Your life is in your hands and you can change it at any moment.
I feel weird with these glasses on.
I mean,
I can wear them in restaurants.
You look good with those glasses.
You know, these are mine.
I would
are my
hope.
prototypes. No, I mean, I have like 40, 50 pair here. These are prototypes.
You're designing glasses now?
Yeah, I hope they're out by
Talk
Christmas.
about evolution, man. Look at you.
Well, it's too expensive to do a fragrance. You got to start somewhere.
That's right.
So, and speaking of starting somewhere, man, what a difference a decade makes. Almost a decade. Right?
A lot you can do in a decade. And you got a lot more decades left to go. So
how did we meet? Do you remember?
Yeah, you know, I don't. If I look back at it, all I know is one day I didn't know you, and the next day you were my family, and it just stayed that way.
That's really something. I think some of my strongest rooted relationships of my adult life, I cannot for the life, neither one of us can remember how it happened.
I just remember. I remember I was living in Ohio, and you had taken me on to coach me in speaking and coaching, and I became a student of yours. And I don't know. I
said right off the bat you were gonna be a star because the name. I like the name. Then I met you, and it's just just so much. We're gonna get into that.
It's weird because I for a while, I felt like I had let myself down in that regard. I had thought like I somehow made myself smaller I cut off a lot of the world. I had let so many people in, and I was so inundated with people I didn't even know, because I had felt like the more people I connect with, the more that I'm doing. And I cut most of it out of my life and thought that I had somehow regressed or went smaller. And it actually turns out that it's the exact opposite. I exponentially increased my stock by putting priorities first.
Yeah.
And chasing my passions and doing my dream. Right. And so
now, or you may not, I doubt if you know this part, but here's another similarity as far as our journey, was when we decided to break up with every person and everything from that previous lifestyle. I know because I was in your life when you were doing that, and you were doing the what was that called on YouTube when they do those shows? They do the music. It's
the music reactions.
Yeah, you had it, and it was very successful. Very successful. I said, he's gonna make my job easy as a coach. Everybody's gonna say, look what Dr. Lauren did, but you already had a lot of that stuff in place. But what I'm referring to is I had a guy who I had a zero tolerance policy. And I was helping him, and I heard him making a drug deal with code words. Like I'm like, oops, I almost said the N word. I was like, boy,
almost brought Doc out of his bag.
And it's midnight. I'm folding his laundry. I washed his dishes from the food I made for him because he's on disability, which I helped him get. While 2 blocks away, all my shit's dirty. I ain't washed my dishes. I ain't washed my clothes. And I hear a drug deal. I said, that's it. I told you. And I dropped it, didn't fold another towel, didn't roll up another pair of socks, walked out. And he said, oh, before you leave, you walk out that door under these terms, I'm going to make up something and I'm going to ruin you. You have a record. I don't. You're black. I'm white. And I know the sheriff and I know the prosecutor. 6 months later, he tried. I was on the front of the newspaper, wanted, and facing 6 charges, 15 years each. That trial started 2 days after I was on stage delivering Lost or Found, which later became the Goldcast video. And so it didn't work because of the promise, y'all. No weapon formed against you. But let me tell you, there was a moment God sent Brian. We had only been dating 3 weeks, Brian and I, and we thought we were going to lose each other. He had left. He had been gone 30 minutes from Michigan, coming back to Chicago, right? He said something told him, because we wasn't a believer then, to turn around, come back to me. When he walked into my apartment, I was in mid-throw of getaway clothes. I was getting ready to run.
Oof.
That's what I had always done. I wasn't on parole or anything at this time or probation, but I was about to run because I was like,
Not me. I'm not going back.
God, right. And what if I would have? So let's talk about it, because we both went somewhere from the place that was uncomfortable. We'd outgrown it. But yours was a little different. Remember that? I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
How everything, tell them that story. I wouldn't give too much to the destruction, because, you know, people try to tear up your shit. They don't care. They don't want to see you. They don't want to be left behind. That's what it is, I think.
I think that's a big part of it, because it's I think most of the time when that comes, it's because it's a reflection of what they could do and chose not to. And then when they see you in your element and they see you thriving or happy, happiness is the mace to the unworthy and the unhappy. Right. So when they see you smiling and successful, it just burns their face.
Burns them up.
It burns them. And they don't know how to express that emotion, because the ego is the hardest thing to conquer without knowledge. And they lash out, right? They don't know what to do to alleviate that pain that they're feeling inside. So it's the bully method, right? The natural reaction is to lash out and attack. And
you know what I remember the most, not to cut you off, about you, that I was just telling Brian this morning when I told him you were coming on the show, how, because you all know my gift. Greater Than gives me brief glimpses into the greatness of certain people. All the rock stars. I'm serious. It's so true. And I remember when I was telling you some of the stuff they were showing me or telling me about you, how this is what he would do. And it shocked me, because I really thought, how in the world does he not know these things? Joshua Berglund was another one that was like that, just oblivious to the fact that he was a master manifester and a master of just ingenuity, and he thinks far ahead. And you do too. But you'd be stopped. You'd go. I'd say something about you. You go, like, okay, what's your angle?
Yeah.
You know. Do you remember that?
Well, oh yeah.
And then I see you, watch from afar, just out there. It's amazing, because Claire has found clearly a space that I have a feeling she didn't even know was her space, because Claire was everywhere. But then you guys got together and it seemed like she was, I don't know, she found something that suited her even more perfectly than previously. And you did too.
Yeah.
Hence the term evenly. So talk about that.
It's a beautiful thing when you find your person, right? And you never know where that's going to come from. And for those that have that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you know what I mean? I can't even put it into words. It's blissful when you have that element and that level of love and trust with somebody
Yeah.
that you just know, right? Like it gives you the confidence to navigate through life, because at the end of the day, no matter what, you have each other. And if you don't know what that feels like, it's hard to put into words, right? To know that no matter what, if I fall, I know that my partner's there. It's like holding the rope.
It's
Literally, it's
well,
climb,
it's
it's
you know what I tell people? It's the same thing. God told me this. It originated with the love between him and us, but we turned it into a romantic phrase. But I had to download one. I love it too. He said, falling in love, I originally intended that phrase to encourage you that there are no such things as mistakes. When you fall, I catch you. You're falling into love, which is home, which is me, which is us. And I just want to say, what I have seen, the things that I've seen, and I haven't seen it all by any means, no stretch of the imagination, because you guys do so many things behind the scenes. And I believe you do things where people don't even know you are behind it, because you're not an attention seeker. I mean, you have command presence. I'll give you that. You walk in because you're so damn tall, But I want to say this. It is so wonderful to watch you believe in everything that has always believed in you when people couldn't or wouldn't, because I know how that feels. And we stuck to what we knew to be true. I want to go to the house of cards, that, let's say, that block. We went around the block. And when you went around the block and it changed everything, your son was a little bitty one. Roman, how old was he then when you went to Florida or wherever?
2.
He was 2.
He was just about to turn 2.
And you had a booty mark in your shoulder because he was always with you when you were performing. Sonny's a musician too. He's a lot of things. That was something else we had in common. I loved. He was with you all the time. All the time.
We were attached at the hip. He was my little breath.
Right. So something happens, baby mama drama, and all that you had built, the YouTube. How many subscribers did you have?
I had a little over 50,000 at one point.
Right. And then how long did it take for someone to destroy that?
50 seconds.
50 seconds. Right. And that was the first step. So then he had a team who was helping him build this empire. And you guys were doing it fast. And then you get away from the one person, and then there's a double agent in the hen house, a fox in the hen house. So you get betrayed again. What did you think was going on, Sonny?
I honestly believed that it was a sign that I'm not supposed to be doing that I'm in the wrong space doing, when I had first started doing that, I had done it because I discovered it in COVID, and it was something that I really enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
It was, being on camera and having conversations, meeting people, reacting to music and being paid for it. Like it was such a high moment for me. And
you were self-taught.
All self-taught. Yeah. I did all the research and learned everything myself. So
okay, wait a minute. And guess what, y'all? They who will remain nameless. Sonny taught that person, the person who destroyed. All you got to do is put some controversial shit on somebody's page as a post. And boom, they'll shut it down, no questions, Yeah. But you taught that person how to do that work, and it's very lucrative when you're successful. And last time we were here together, this person was still doing it.
Still is.
You see, how long did it take you, if any? I don't want to assume for agreements. How long did it take you, if it took you any time at all, to get past? Because I know I would have been like, ooh, somebody, y'all better get me. I'm gonna catch case tonight. Somebody. How long did it take you to release that and actually bless this person? Because that's not easy when that kind of, what would you call what happened? I think it goes beyond betrayal. Oh, I know why. I remember Jess was talking about this the other day. We got a creed. People that have been to jail and stuff. One thing you don't do, you don't call, unless somebody getting killed or bleeding or something, you don't call the police.
Yeah.
Especially on your own people.
Yeah, there's some things that are just, especially with a past like what I have, like there's
right.
It allows you to realize there's no, and that was kind of really the defining moment that let me know, like, I have to get away.
That hurt you.
There's no humanity left there, because you're willing to throw someone's life away completely just because of anger. And that, so I mean, you know, you have to, you got to learn to let go. And when I did, you know, my life grew exponentially. So I mean, you know, now I have Roman in my life.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful thing. We were just on Roblox yesterday. He loves to play Roblox. He can't get enough of it.
How old is he now?
He just turned 7. I actually got to spend his 7th birthday with him. I flew up to Cleveland and got to take him out and spend a week with him. And it's been going wonderful. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to be able to have him back in my life. And it's another example of manifestation, right? When you put something in front of you and you leave the how to the universe, the world provides, right? Like it gives you what you want when you set the intention and then go about your life as if it's already been given to you. And
two things I want to point out about that I was watching from afar. Because instantly it was like I could see all of your angelic, your spiritual support system working around you while these human betrayals were rampant. And I had already experienced it, but you were the second person, outside of myself, you were the first person that I got to see it in real time. And what I'm getting at here is how I knew, but I hadn't named it yet. You see, and until you name something, there's a chance it might end up working. It might not serve you, because that's how they hang around and trick us. They don't have names. Hi, Brenda. How you doing? Horrible. Why? Everything. Huh? Those people. What people? At my job. You know, she ain't said shit that's going to help fix anything. So she hasn't named anything. So those things do not serve her. But here it is. I was amazed, Sonny, because I'd gone through all that same stuff, how quickly you were able to pivot, for one thing. And I knew when you made the decision, because you told me that you were going to go, and it was like that day you got up and doing laundry and said, you know what, in between the wash and the rinse cycle, I'm packing my shit and I'm out of here today. Didn't have a car. And then one showed up.
Yep.
Right?
Everything just fell in place like
everything
it was supposed
fell
to.
In place.
You know, it's funny because I tried to leave on a motorcycle and leave things behind. And I'd even had the conversation like, why am I leaving things? Right? Because then you're not committed to what you're choosing to do. And I ended up crashing the motorcycle in Cincinnati, and I had to get a ride from my ex-wife. She came down and picked me up with her husband and brought me back so that I could get all of my other stuff and leave permanently.
So in other words, the universe said, stop, cut.
Yep.
Everybody,
hold
we're gonna
up.
Take this from the top.
If you're going to do this, commit to it and do it completely.
Now, I got a theory, because I've forgotten about the motorcycle part.
Yeah.
But I know it's true because I saw the other part with the car and I knew exactly what was happening. Here it is. The motorcycle thing, See, they weren't going to let you taint and undo a master plan. See, there's a big difference across the board when we are running from something as opposed to running into the arms of something else. You see, that was the whole different thing. Talk about that. The difference in your spirit when you were on the motorcycle headed out, you thought, as opposed to when the blessing showed up with 4 wheels, you could take the things you thought you were going to have to sacrifice. What do you think was happening?
Yeah, it was a real moment of clarity of when, you have to commit to what you're doing. Are you running away or are you running to? And I think subconsciously I was running away, obviously, because I had left a reason to come back, even though I'm professing that I'm leaving. If you're not committing, then you're half-assing it. And if you're
just in case I want to come back, and I don't mean it, I'm gonna have some stuff on.
And here we are 4 years later, and even with everything that's gone on in my life, I don't regret in one bit fully committing to the choice that I made in what I've done with my life. It's the right move. You follow your instincts and do what you know to be right in your heart and true to you, and you will never fail, right? You might fall, but you'll never fail. You only fail when you quit, when you give up. That's the only time you lose.
Correct. Now, some of you out there have heard me say this, and I'll say this. I'll be having lunch one day with Whitney Houston, and I'll be telling her this because I ain't never gonna stop, even over there. Seriously. And you're a great example. So many of you are. I am as well. But I tell kids and I tell adults alike, know this. Whenever you can trace back to where trauma at any point has touched you, but especially your childhood, that is the exact moment that the universe, God, what is greater than us, has literally marked you for greatness. It's true. It has marked you for greatness. Because look how we started out, both of us, right? And look what we're doing today. So I would say this. When I met Sonny, I think as far as all the things that I saw that were so crystal clear, and this is a great lesson on perspective, how we never see ourselves even close to what others see. Right? So
true. So true. I remember the first episode of your show that I was on when this is years ago. Years ago. I mean, I look back at that now and I'm like, who is that? All right. And you guys, a lot of you saw the potential I didn't see in myself and saw what was there. And, again, as I just come off from 2 days ago, reaching hundreds of young men at a young men's conference, it just comes full circle, right? To stand up there with some really great leaders and speakers like Felix Bobo. I mean, the guy is such a commanding motivational speaker, and it's amazing to be in the position that I'm in, where you see the effects of your life, and it's a lesson. It's a lesson that I use to these kids, and I teach them and let them know my life is a perfect template for what not to do, and here's why. Here's what you don't look at what it is now and think that, well, I have time to mess up and screw up, because if he made it and he's doing great, so can I.
Right.
You can avoid so much pain because you can do great now and do it such a long time. You can spare, and it's not just about sparing yourself a bunch of heartache and pain. It's about limiting the wake of destruction that you'll leave, because the pain that you cause when you think that you're just hurting yourself is exponentially larger than what you know it is. Right?
I'm curious, and you can tell me none of your damn business. Lauren. But your son's mother, a lot of people stay together way beyond when they knew it's time to go because for the sake of the children. Do you feel that played a part? Because the thing about you is something I feel about your spirit, the fibers of your spirit. You don't hang usually in places where you're tolerated.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever had an issue with self-esteem, self-confidence. As far as
I wouldn't say ever, but
but not a big thing where you just because you have command presence, and it's not just because of your height, it's because you lived through so much, like so many of us with trauma and stuff like that, all of us. But you do something with it. So I want to go here. Because I remember it was, Brian, when I moved here, I'd be outside on a coaching call, screaming my head off at one of y'all. I'm much nicer now. Remember those days, though?
Oh yeah.
Because I had no idea. You had it, too. That anger.
Yeah.
Tell the truth. Can you believe how different our worlds are with the absence of that?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's night and day.
Night and day.
It's completely different, right? It is absolutely completely different in the manifestation of good things in your life when you eliminate the toxic internal feelings.
Yes.
And that is, it comes out in anger. It comes out in resentment. It comes out in things that we dislike and will accept. There's a level of pain that we will accept in our own lives because it becomes comfortable. And when we can anticipate the pain that's coming, it's much easier to deal with. It's like a bee sting, right? Mm-hmm. None of us like to be stung by bees, but we're not terrified of it, right? Well, unless we're deathly allergic, right? Like we're not going to lose our mind, but we're deathly afraid of fire. Like you're not going to just stick your hand in a fire. I don't care who you are. And that's because there's a comfortable level of pain that we acknowledge in our lives that is acceptable. And the dangerous thing about that is you can get lost in that for years.
Yes.
And you will find sources of comfort that will keep you locked in that pain cycle. Again, kids most often are that catalyst that we see that keep couples that are not happy together. And it's never a good thing to do, right? You never stay together for the kids because the kids don't hear, they see, right? They absorb what they see. And if you live in a hostile environment that's devoid of love and compassion and kindness, they're going to inherit those traits and put them forward at some point in their life, right? So you're doing much more damage to everybody around you when you stay in a situation that you're not happy with.
Perfectly said. Share this if you have any recollection, and I have a feeling you do. When we were brought together, divinely connected, and I saw you, and I saw you looking back at me, not knowing what you were really processing, but you had so many hopes. And the thing that impressed me, because at that point back then, I was really looking at each one of you, from top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, side to side, corner to corner, and corner to corner. That's when that came into play, because you were all so different. So different. And the thing about you, Sonny, was you believed something was coming. You believed something had to go. But you were having trouble believing the way outsiders, myself included, would agree with you. Because the minute we laid our vision on top of, you're right, you are going somewhere from here and da-da-da-da. So I want to ask you, do you remember, were you cognizant of when everything got swapped out, where all of a sudden it was like, You know, it's like you ever you wanted to sneeze and you couldn't, or you needed to yawn and you couldn't. That kind of thing. Yeah, you be trying. Right. Share with the folks what it felt like when all of a sudden the things that you knew to be true started coming true.
And you know, there was a couple of very distinct moments, and I just got to say hi to Maria Gonzalez. That is the vice president of my nonprofit organization, the Von Cleveland Foundation, and such a hardworking and dedicated individual. Thank you so much, Maria, for tuning in.
Thank you, Maria.
Just a sweetheart. She's such an amazing human being. There have been several of those moments, and the cool part is that I still get those from time to time when, like, I'm laying in bed with Claire and we're watching, a show or something, and I have that moment of I'm just, everything's so perfect, where it's like, if you didn't pay attention in your life before, this is a great example of it. This is a great example of a way to do that. It's taking stock of the things that you're grateful for.
Yes.
Gratitude is so 100% the secret sauce to living a happy life. And you will wake up one day, or it might not even wake up. You might be awake just in the afternoon and just realize all of a sudden, I get stopped at my tracks all the time. And I'm like, is this my life? This is really my life.
Right. Took me a while too.
And it's in those moments where sometimes I just want to cry. Right?
I did.
Where you're so happy. I mean, I live in Palm Springs. Shout out to Robert Garcia in San Diego. He's my neighbor.
You know Robert?
I don't, but he's my neighbor. So
yeah, that Shift Magazine. Rob's one of the greatest. I'm not kidding you. You need to know him. But I want to say this.
Be happy to connect, Robert. Let me know.
I'll put you guys in an email. You need to know him, and he needs to know you. I want to say this to you.
Steve Hall, how you doing, my guy?
Oh, there's shit. Look, how'd you put that on there, Robert? That magazine cover. You gonna cut me in or cut it out? That's all I'm saying. So listen, before we start wrapping it up, because we still need to talk about the who do you serve with the Von Cleveland Foundation? Who and then we're going to go into the book. We want to talk about
primarily our primary focus is on youth development programs. We have our latest program is called the Understanding You series. It's a 3-part series. Understanding emotion, understanding trauma, and understanding forgiveness. I think those are the 3 key things in life.
Who are you to talk to kids about that kind? I hate this term, but I'm gonna use it. Devil's advocate in the house right now.
I can tell you.
Wait, I ain't done. Who do you think you are? This is what we heard, whether it was real or not. This is what they were saying before God opened up the door and said, "Talk to my hand. Go on in, Sonny. Go on in, Lauren. Listen."
Yeah.
Who do you think you are to talk to kids when you had your first felony at what age? 7.
Yeah.
A felony at 7. I got my first felony at 32.
That's exactly what puts me in the position to do this, right?
Talk about that.
Maria and I have worked a couple of wonderful events together, and she's gotten me into some schools out in the East Valley of Coachella Valley. And I mean, we've rocked out in Indio Teen Center and where did we go, Maria? We've gone to Thomas Jefferson Middle School. We just did Kauai Desert Academy, and you see the resonance with these kids. And so primarily we're in the 12 to 20 range of kids that we help, because I believe that's where to get them. If we can give them the tools of emotional intelligence now, it changes the trajectory of their life, right? And we have seen that impact. You know, this is one of the great moments that Maria and I get to share, where we had a 12-year-old little girl at the end of one of my workshops and I mean, we're in a building with hundreds of kids. I don't know how many are in there. And she came up out of the blue after it was over, and it just almost broke me to it. She admits to the abuse that she's been going through in that moment. And
it's all the time.
And it's like that right there that's the key, right? That is the reason. When you're able to empower a 12-year-old little girl to stand up and to a complete total stranger that looks like me, to be able to build that level of comfort from a stage.
No, wait a minute.
It's a gift that I would go through everything I've ever experienced 3 times over to be able to change that little girl's life like that. Right. I love you, Maria.
Here comes the coach. We talked about all this way back before you. Now let's talk. Let's tell them about this. Do you remember how adamant I was about how important it was for you to understand this was not about you? Right? Because you were there. Remember when I got that email from that kid in India?
It was one of the
kill himself? Do you remember
one of the most profound lessons that you've taught me, that you constantly pounded in. And I'm thankful for that, because I mean, it's easy when the ego kicks in. It's easy to lose focus on the fact that it's not about you, right?
It's not about you.
It's easy to get on that path of thinking in my mind that I have to do this for me. I have to do this for me, so that I can build more and do more. But it's you're ingratiating the wrong purpose. It's not about me. It's about them. I used to think that I had to do this so that I could grow as big as possible, to help as many as possible, not realizing I don't have to grow to change the world. I don't have to expand any farther than that. If that little girl goes on to help 1,000 people, then I've helped 1,000 people.
Okay, so here we go. Traffic guard of purpose in the middle of the intersection, stopping traffic in all directions right now. Here it is. What he just said about the little girl, that's what I was waiting to get in and say. You're sitting here going, oh, we need to help a little girl. You've helped many more before you even got out of Ohio. You just didn't know it.
I didn't know it.
You didn't know it because they didn't have a way to come up and say, guess what you just did? But you were doing it. So that is a lesson for all of us. Because listen, a lot of people worry about going viral. They worry about the numbers and this and the other. Let me tell you something. The night before the Goldcast video launched for me, God said, the most important number you need to concern yourself with for the rest of your journey, Lauren, is the number 1. Because you need to make sure that before you start pouring out of this cup, you need to know exactly what you're drinking yourself. Before you serve from that plate, you better make sure nothing on that plate is 0 calories.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And so here's the thing. The first shall be last and the last shall be first. Follow the clues, follow the promises. And I want to say this about you, character, and how it's not how we start. It's not even how we run the race in the middle. It'll all come down to how and when and where we finish it. That's right. And I'm just so proud of you. Let's talk about the book. Because you always said there was going to be the book. And you shocked me because you wrote yours before I wrote mine.
Yeah, the book is it's doing fantastic. And even to this day, again, it's not about the numbers, right? Like, I haven't sold 1 million copies, which that would be beautiful, right? But the impact that it's having right now, I just got a call. I wish I could show you guys. I just had a phone call yesterday from the Boys and Girls Club, from the girl that I used to work with, Andrea, right here, where she's talking about this little boy that he's 17 and he's reading my book right now and how it's pulling him out of the life that he's ingratiated. And so these examples of when my story helps change a life, the numbers don't matter. Like,
no, but the one does. You know why?
It's the one.
Right. That's why I got when I needed something to get that nasty taste out of my mouth from that pay-to-play experience in Vegas way back. And then he gave me, I said, I need some spiritual Listerine to get this funky ass taste out of my mouth. And he gave me, like in 20 minutes, The Power of We Symposium. And he said, 1 letter changed all of it. From me, turn that M to a W, and you get the power of we. That is superpower.
No doubt.
Now, why is one important too? Because you set the table of legacy, of purpose. You just need one of everything, one cup, one glass. That's the setting, right? So I want to ask you this. How different is your insight? Now, insight hides in plain sight because it's inside of us. Nobody can get to it. Nothing can get in there to change due north unless it's through our own invitation. When we got into trouble and stuff, that stuff didn't control us. We invited it in. Yeah. And when we stopped, it left. Right? So what would you tell? We know about how you have an impact on kids, but what about one or two adults that might be listening and they have something in their world that does not currently serve them, but they just don't know how to let it go?
I've had the blessing of being able to work with a lot of recovery centers lately, and go in and work with broken people and hear their stories as to, what they relegate to the cause of their addictions or why they're going down. And when you help them break through and have a realization that every day that you stay in this pit is a day that you could be pursuing happiness, that you could be pursuing forgiveness and freedom. And you're staying that way because you're looking for an excuse. You're looking for a why. You're looking for a cause for your pain instead of just accepting it, feeling it, letting it go, and serving a greater purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're so focused on trying to alleviate the pain that you're feeling that you're not focused on the healing, right? And you're stuck, right? And that's when you're stuck like that, you're going to constantly try to source a why I'm feeling this way. Why am I stuck in addiction? What is it that I'm trying to uncover, and what am I trying to work through, as opposed to actually working through it? It's like a basketball player that practices and practices and practices, but never tries out for the team. Right? Like you're going through the pain, you're learning the motions, you're growing and you're learning, but you're not actually going to use it because you're still you're coming up with an excuse for the pain, and you're trying to find a why for the pain.
Yeah.
Try out for the team. Doesn't matter how bad you are. And that's something that I've come to learn in my life. And Maria can attest this, and you can attest this, because I have literally started and failed so many projects. And I've taken the Michael Jackson or the Michael Jordan approach of failing to success, right? And I've come to find that it works, because the beautiful part about leading with intention and altruism and having a golden purpose when you do something is that it's still on the back burner. I started Coachella Valley TV and went really hard for it for a minute, and it lost its momentum. And then year and a half later, I now have a digital production company that has now dusted off that which I built before, and now it's going to come full circle. And it's like, life is not a linear path. There are ups and downs, there's ebbs and flows, and it's a malleable process to what you have to go through to get to where you want to go. And the sooner that you can accept that on the other side of pain is greatness, the sooner you can accept pain.
True. We're almost out of time. We are out of time. The book is Hey, White Boy. Okay.
Hey, white boy.
It's all in the placing of the emphasis. Don't try this. I can get away with it because I'm black. I'm just kidding. And I love you. I want to say this too. I have seen the biggest change in the outside Sonny is because he had this mohawk when I met him. And there were things you still had some yard residue. That's the prison yard residue. You still had some thug residue from the street stuff. I did too. It all helped carry the anger forward because it was our shield We don't show emotions. It's a weakness. We've changed that out. And I'll say this. It's like you went from being a arrested development type, the youth you've grown up, you've shown up, and you're showing out. And I'm just so proud. And I feel really honored. Many times, I'll tell you this for the first time, many times after you started making your moves, right? After you did that one and you did it and you meant it, because when you mean it, it becomes meaningful. I watched and I was like, wow. And watching you helped me get through some things sometimes in there too. So know this, it's never about the teacher or the student. It's about being willing, the willingness to be either one or both at any given time or all the time. And for as long as it takes to get this work done. We don't go to work. That's right. What people get paid for. We live within the work because that's what we were made for. There you go. Take that with you, you guys.
Listen, we're doing some really powerful stuff over here, and I would love it if you guys would go check out Limitless Digital on YouTube or Instagram.
Put it in the comment section.
Yes, we just unleashed the Road to Rock Bottom podcast, and it is such a powerful thing, and you guys got to come check it out.
Oh, okay. Well, he could have had that link, but he'd rather give you a shameless plug. Look on the screen. There it is. Shameless.
That's right. I would rather you hear it from me and come find it.
Well, and I love shameless plug because it's not a negative. There's no shame in it. It's less the shame. There you go. So listen, get out, get the book. You can find it all over Amazon, right? Get the book. It is awesome. And
Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, anywhere books are sold.
Reach out, follow Sonny. Here is there's Instagram right there. He's got a bunch of them. And I'm gonna tell you why I didn't put those Facebook links, because it has a million different things. Nobody's gonna be able to write that down. Get a pretty link.
That's true. At the end of the day, you can just Google Sonny Von Cleveland. It'll give you
and get your pretty links. You can go in. You had those. I know you can.
It's in there somewhere. I
just put your name right. You guys get over. Sonny's a good ear. He's a good listener, and he's a great speaker. If you have an event or you just need someone to give you a word, he might just be that person. Listen, get out of here, Sonny. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend.
Let us know what we can do from this side of the pond to assist you in what you're doing over there, and vice versa. Okay.
Just support.
Give the wonderful, beautiful Claire.
Follow along.
Tell Claire we love her, miss her face. Okay. Listen, tomorrow, you guys, who do we have tomorrow? Oh, Tammy Vincent. She was supposed to be here Monday, and she was in the hospital having a stroke. And there I was going in for kidney stuff. She's going to be here tomorrow. Wait till you meet this woman. She is a trooper, y'all. That's Friday, tomorrow, 8 a.m. Central. I'll meet you on the front porch, where we will come inside and have yet another illuminated conversation with Sonny Von Cleveland. Oh, man, love it. Love it. Keep going, keep growing, and keep showing. Where'd you go? Okay.
My camera shuts off after a second.
Well, listen, I love you. I'll see you on the next one. You guys show up tomorrow if you can. If you can't, I'll see you Monday. Get out there and get that one E and that one R and take everything to a whole new level. Great to greater, bright to brighter, smart to smarter, and my personal favorite, kind to kinder. Don't let my screen door slam, whatever you do on the way out of here. And remember this, Dr. Lauren absolutely loves you. I mean it. Oh, and Sonny, I meant to use that sound effect when you had to sit here the whole time.
I was going to say, did you get a cat?
Reasons to use that. And like, ow. We change. You guys have the best day ever. It's possible. Sonny, God bless you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, my friend.
Good to see you always. Bye, everybody. Have the greatest day ever. Bye-bye.